I'm about to tell you, with some help from my friend, what you need to do to get pre-approved for a mortgage. I'm about to bring on Bob the broker Snyder from Silex Financial Group, who is our preferred lender at Streamline Properties on Market. He's going to help me help you figure out what you need to do with your pre-approval, why you need it, how to get it, what the big deal is. It's all coming to you shortly. Here we go. I'm letting him in right now. Gotta love Zoom. Bob. Oh, Bob is here.
I'm here. How are
Well,
you today?
I've already given your intro, so welcome here so we can help people understand what they need to do to get a pre-approval in place and why. How long have you been in the mortgage business?
I've been in the business now about 18 years. It's hard to believe, but yeah, 18 years now.
All right, well, let's talk pre-approvals because you and I, of course, go over this all with our shared clients all the time. But I think the thing that people always want to know first is probably almost irrelevant, but how does it affect your credit when you do a hard pull for a pre-approval, if you even
Well,
need to?
I know it scares people a lot. Look, you know what? If you have good credit, you shouldn't be worried. If it drops your scores a couple points, they'll bounce back within a month or two. If your credit's not that strong, it may affect you a little bit. But if it really worries you, that's why you're not getting pre-approved. You can always do a soft pull. There's, the only disadvantage to that would be if you find a house within a week or two, where then we're gonna have to then do a hard pull then, and if anything changed, yeah, that's the issue. But yeah, I don't worry about that. A soft pull, hard pull. This is the important thing is looking at the credit to make sure if there's something we need to tweak, we can start working on it.
Yeah. And in terms of like, what documents do people need to have ready for you? Because I think what happens a lot, I know we've talked about this. They say they want to get a pre-approval, then they talk to a lender and they're like, well, I didn't realize I had to have everything like in order. Like you need documents to be able to
Yeah.
generate a pre-approval, right?
Yeah, typically what I like to do though is have a conversation first. I mean, you could have some pay stubs and W-2s and a couple of bank statements together, and that's great. I like to have a conversation, just see if there's anything quirky. Maybe the person has another home, or they're self-employed, and then all of a sudden the paperwork gets a little bit trickier.
Different.
Yeah. So, but it's really not that hard, especially these days. Everything's online.
Yeah, so that's good to note though. It's not like the old days where they had to come in and bring you all tax returns and everything.
No.
You have a portal where they can securely upload documents and then you can review them and generate the pre-approval after discussing it with them and verifying whatever you need to, right?
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people these days don't want to talk right away. They just want to go and do something. I always like to follow up though. I mean, I have an online portal. They fill out an application, but there are certain questions that you're not going to get in an application or a portal that maybe we can have a discussion about that might affect your pre-approval.
Yeah. And so in terms of getting a pre-approval, I think for everybody, it's interesting to note. So you're a mortgage broker, not a mortgage banker. Explain the difference and how that can be helpful for many people in terms of like getting more opportunities.
As a broker, I work with 30 to 40 different lenders. So when the time comes that you're under contract, we'll shop those lenders for a rate and program. But for now, my job is to make sure you're buying in the right price range, make sure that your credit and all your numbers are in order. I'm here to answer questions. I don't cost anything more to work with than anyone else. I really don't cost anything from beginning to end. So once the time comes, we'll shop the lenders. But the other thing that's important is lenders have different guidelines. So if you go to one bank, they have their own set of products and their own set of guidelines. I have some other products and guidelines that might help you secure a better rate or help you get a mortgage.
Yeah, and that's especially important for, like you said, people who don't have regular W-2 income or who have other properties or who are investors and are looking to use money differently. You as a broker just have more available options to shop around for them.
Yeah, especially now, there's all kinds of products for self-employed people. The tax returns for self-employed people can be tricky. They don't always show the right amount of income to get pre-approved. So there's a lot of products out there for self-employed people or investors. Those products you won't see as much at going to your local bank.
Yeah. And so when somebody does get a pre-approval, how long is that one generally good for before you have to like check on anything or rerun something, dependent on whatever the house prices are, of course?
So that's funny. I typically tell my clients, I typically tell them that their pre-approvals are good forever. I know you go to a bank, it's usually about 90 days, but I'm always talking to them, my clients. So, if my client doesn't find something for 6 months, they're going to call me in 6 months and say, hey, I want to put an offer on this place. We're simply going to do some quick numbers. Anything change? No, same job, same income. All right, let's just get you into this house.
Yeah.
It's not very tricky.
Yeah, and I know obviously from our relationship that you're in touch with your clients all the time. So you kind of are always stressing, like, hey, if something changes, let me know because that will affect your buying power. And when you're educating them, they know to alert you if something happens. So maybe they can go up or they need to go down when rates go too high or something like that.
We're advisors, aren't we? I mean, that's our job.
Absolutely.
I mean, our job is to make sure that we're always advising, answering questions, rerunning numbers for you. That's really what we are. We're not here just to throw you a pre-approval and get you into the loan.
Yeah, so I mean, to help everybody out there, because we always say it too, in order to look for a home, you really want to get that pre-approval in place. From our point of view on the real estate agent side, it's because, like you said before, if you do find the house that you love, like you have to be ready to offer, and we can't make offers without a pre-approval. What's the general turnaround time from the time after you have your first call to being able to generate a pre-approval, assuming the things that you need are easily given to you?
I try to get all my pre-approvals done in 24 to 48 hours. I can do them same day, but I try to do them 24 to 48 hours. I think the key though is the sooner you get started, the better. I mean, like I said, if we need to run some different things to get your credit scores higher for a better rate, we can start working on that earlier. Um, you want to know before you look at houses that you're really buying in the right price range. There's nothing worse than having an offer accepted. We run then you start thinking about it and you're like, oh my God, I can't afford this house.
Yeah.
Right. So I always like to make sure you're buying in the right price range. You understand the numbers. And the sooner we start working on that, 2, 3, 6 months before, the better.
Yeah, and especially now with rates like fluctuating, sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low. People think they're high now. It's really important for buyers to understand what payments they want a month, if that's how they're looking at their income. And that can be slidable depending on the house and the taxes and the loan portal, right? So you need to kind of be in constant communication on what they're doing to make sure you're giving them the best advice on what they're probably going to spend per month.
I tend to run numbers every time they can offer on a house on the specific house. I tell them that's what I want to do so they know for that specific house. And the other thing is I don't like the blanket approval letter with a rate on it and all that. If rates jump like they did earlier year and you were pre-approved when the rates were 4.5 and suddenly they're 6.5, that does it's a big difference. So I don't like those blanket pre-approvals. If I could run the numbers when it happens, then oh God, maybe something's changed. Rates have changed.
Yeah.
I really can't afford this house.
Yeah, and that's why I think like the relationship between lender and agent and really all the parties to a transaction as you go, attorney and title, are so important because you and I are always talking like, oh, they went up. Or what's really important is that say someone qualifies for $1 million, that doesn't mean they want to spend $1 million. We personally, I on our team, we like to know their max so we can help them control their budget. But a lot of people can be approved for over $1 million, but still say, look, I would like to spend 650. But then at least if they see something that they're in love with and they want to go up on a bid, we already know in advance that they're well vetted for that, instead of just having, like you said, a blanket at a number and not knowing, how long it's going to take us to find out if they can get something better.
I tell all my clients that we're going to do two numbers. One is the max you can be pre-approved for, and the other is figuring out what is a good price range for you, so that you're shopping in the right price range. It's simple. A lot of people can go way too high, but we've had some issues with that in the past. So buying the right price, it's just a house, right? And we want you to love the house, but ultimately it's just a house. We don't want you to be house poor.
Yeah, I want you to be able to afford the house. And that's important. Again, in this time when rates are going up and down, you really have to be cognizant of how much you want to spend, how much that's going to cost, and what reserves you'll have for later, because you have your Generally, you're gonna have your down payment, then you have closing costs, you're gonna have your inspection fees, but that's all together. Then once you close, things break.
You know, right? And people want to use every penny they have to get into a house. I just try to avoid that. You know, because right, that's the first. What's going to happen? Something's going to break, and then if you have no
Always
money, what are you going to do? You're going to put it on a credit card.
Yeah. And then you're stuck on the credit because nothing that breaks right away. It doesn't matter. Like home inspectors are great. It's just the way that houses are. You
Yeah.
close and something always goes wrong. Hopefully it's a $5,000 wrong and not a $15,000 wrong, but like you need to have extra in there, because if your heat goes off in the winter, you need to get the furnace fixed. I mean, you have to get these things done.
Same thing with any of the big purchases, right? Car. Yeah, you buy an expensive car, something's going to break. I mean, some of it's under warranty, but not everything, right?
It's magically not under warranty when you need it to be under warranty. That's
Of course,
the way it
of
goes.
course.
Are
But
there
yeah,
any like misnomers that are out there that we haven't talked about that might help people feel more comfortable about just getting a pre-approval and not thinking it's like as big a deal as some people make it out to be?
I'm not sure. I think that people are scared to really look at the numbers. So or they're scared to show me their credit. Or I've seen all kinds of credit. Nothing phases me. Bad credit, good credit, crazy things on credit. That's all part of the deal. You won't be the first.
Well, and there's got to be shown to get through to get a loan eventually. So better get it out of the way early, like you said. So if there is some type of anomaly on the credit, that you have time to fix it and give them a time frame of how long this is going to take. It might take you 3 months to get it up to this way. You can keep saving during that time, which makes your buying power go up.
I love working with people who have credit issues. I mean, I know there's agencies out there that say they fix your credit and you're going to spend a lot of money to do that. I don't. I do it for free. You know what? I'm going to review your credit. I'm going to tell you the things, whether it's you only need 5-10 points to get a better rate, or if you need to really get up 100 points to get into a loan, we're going to figure out what you need to do. And sometimes it's just telling the people the hard truth of, look, if you do these things, a year from now, you can buy a house.
Right. Yeah, but that's we both say we like to meet people early in the journey because then we can help them get to where they need to be on the right time frame, instead of having someone tell them they can do it right now and then they're left, underwater pretty quickly, or just thinking they can get it and then not being able to when push comes to shove.
Right. And a year goes quickly, right? You'll be
Give
buying
you another year to
it.
save money though, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's the way it is. Great. Well, I appreciate you coming by for this, probably part one of a few videos that we're going to make. I think the pre-approval process is scary to people. Hopefully we could just make it a little bit less scary.
No, I think it's, once most people do it, they kind of like, oh, that was it? I'm done?
Yeah.
It's
like a little shot in the arm. Oh, I didn't even know that you did it. It's already over. Like that. That's all there is.
So I love talking mortgages, so anytime.
Of course. So your website is bobthebroker.net, and the best place to get a hold of you via email is bob@bobthebroker.net, correct?
Correct.
Of course, correct. I know these things.
Yes, and you know what? You can always text me on the cell phone. That's the only phone I use. My wife gets the same cell phone, so that's 973-495-8925.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Bob. Thanks so much. We'll see you again on another one. That was Bob the Broker, and hopefully this has helped you get a little bit ease of mind, I guess, for pre-approval. It's not that big of a deal. It's the only way that we can best help you and work together to get you out there to find the home that you want. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a good day.
You too.